Hello, everyone. This is JD Calderon, and this is Indy Comics Explained. And yet again, I brought on another set of fantastic independent creators. So please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everybody know we're here. And without further ado, let's bring on our two guests one at a time. Though. How you doing, Dave?
Good, good. How are you doing?
I'm good. So please let everybody know who you are and where they can find you.
My name's Dave Steinborn, co-creator of Broken Trident. Lakeshorecomics.com is our website. That's actually under construction right now. I'm paying somebody to make it better. I had tried to design it myself. That didn't work the best. You can find me at Dave Steinborn on Instagram, at Dave Steinborn on Twitter, Facebook.com/LakeshoreComics. And we have a campaign live right now on Kickstarter called How to Build an Army, and you can find that at howtobuildanarmy.lakeshorecomics.com.
Nice. All right. And for our next guest, we have Eiler. How you doing, Eiler?
I'm doing good. I'm doing pretty good.
All right, cool. Now, Eiler, how do you pronounce your last name? Just out of curiosity.
Azusano.
Azusano.
Azusano. Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, nice. All right, so gentlemen, I mean, you guys are obviously from different parts of the world, right? And it always intrigues me, like how did you guys get together, right? How did you guys meet?
I was doing a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and we were actually trying to make a YouTube channel out of it. So we were going to commission all of our art, all of our characters, and I found Eiler on a D&D fantasy art Facebook group. He drew my first character ever, which his name was Calder at the time, but that was too close to Calderon from DC. So we changed his name to Janor, which has always been my character from video games and whatever. That was my first D&D character, and then, like I said, Eiler drew him, and then a few years later, 2 years later, whatever, I decided to make a comic out of these characters, and so I went to Eiler right away and asked if he did comics. He sent me some samples. Some of the stuff that he sent me was actually from How to Build an Army, because that's been complete. And then I'll let Eiler talk about that a little bit more too. But yeah, that was kind of how I met.
All right, cool. So Eiler, so you told me you're from the Philippines, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, a lot of fantastic artists coming out of the Philippines. I still work with a number of them. So like how is it culturally out there with comics? I mean, is it a big thing? Like how do you guys get down with it out there?
Yeah. We also have like conventions, and it's like it depends on each, like in each island, or yeah, because here in our island, like Negros Island, it's not really big of a community, but like in other places, in other cities, they there's huge following of comic books. So yeah, it depends on where in the country you're at. Like here, it's a very laid back part, because I'm not living in one of those like big cities here in the Philippines, so it's not as uh, active compared to that of like let's say Manila, or big cities like Cebu. So yeah, but it has a following. So yeah, and before we were able to make sales with the book, like it was locally circulated, and
Right.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Now you said locally circulated. Like, do you guys like have anthology magazines, or did you have your own book? You have a publisher. Like, how was that working out?
Yeah, it was basically self-published. Like,
And it was
uh,
actually How to Build an Army, but titled something else, right?
yeah. It was before it wasn't how to build an army. It was just called by its name, by the protagonist's name, which was Veda. So, um, I was intentionally trying to make it like a shonen fantasy type, so just based after his own name, and I couldn't come up with a better title at the time. Yeah,
Gotcha.
and recently I just thought of it because the storyline is like basically them trying to build an army, like to stop this invading forces. So, yeah, so why not just call it How to Build an Army?
All right, cool. So, like I said, I mean, the Philippines is famous for a lot of fantastic artists. Who was like your hero growing up? You know, amongst Filipinos.
Oh, there was this. Um, my my influence was like Monster, uh, spelled as Monztre. That's his like artist name. Um,
Mm,
but he's a good friend of mine. Like uh, huge influence as well. He does like um fantasy cards, and he's worked with Pathfinder and Magic cards, I guess. So
Wizard of the Coast, that sort of thing.
yeah, yeah,
Mm,
and so yeah, he was a huge influence, and I personally know him, and I really love his art, and like I try my best to try to emulate like that sort of like style,
mhm.
and because I really love fantasy things like anything fantasy. So
Right. Okay. No, that's cool. That's cool. Listen, one of my favorite Filipino artists is Rudy Nibres. I don't know if you know him. Um,
yeah,
he worked with Neil Adams quite a bit. He worked over at Marvel Comics, worked with Neil Adams over Continuity Comics, and Rudy Nibres is just an incredible, incredible embellisher, right? So he was like the guy they brought in to finish the artwork. That's why he pencil it, and he would come in and ink it. He inked over Jabba Seam, I believe, in Conan. He did a bunch of stuff. The guy is just incredible. I met him a few times here in the States. Nice, very, very sweet man. You know, very sweet man. Incredible artist, though. Like the guy is just super great.
Uh,
Um,
Will's Portacio is Filipino
yes.
too, right?
Yeah. Well, Sportasi, this listen, you can run off a list of guys. You know, I'd have to go and look for them, but there's literally a list of dudes who've worked at Marvel, DC, Image, you name it, and they've been all over the place. They're incredible. You know, that's why I ask them like, how's the culture where you're from? Because I mean, it's like it's one of those things that always interests me. You know, it's like seeing how the culture is in another country, how they deal with the art form. You know, because when you hear about what here, the United States, you hear about Japan with manga. Once in a while, you hear about Korea with manhwa, right?
yeah,
And then there's Paris or France, I should say, with the band dessinée. But that's about it, right? Nobody else talks about anything else. Those are basically the forms that everyone talks about. So, that's why I'm always interested. How's it going on other places? So, Dave, what was your involvement with the project? How to build an army. Did you do an edit on it? How'd that work out?
I'm essentially just acting as publisher here with Lakeshore
Mhm.
Comics. Travis is helping him with editing, even though it's been printed before. Travis had read it and just suggested a few edits, and as far as I know, they still have to go over that and make the few little changes. And then I'm also putting the pages together and getting them ready for print. Just throwing them in Illustrator so they're in the proper format for comics impressions.
Mhm.
It was one of these things. One night we were having a discussion with Eiler about where we're moving forward and stuff, and he was like, "Well, hey, I have this comic or this manga, completely finished. Do you guys want to just launch it on Kickstarter for me and under Lakeshore Comics?" And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So I did the the Kickstarter page design, the advertising for it and stuff. But as far as the actual book itself, I've read it. That's my involvement in it.
Gotcha. All right, well, that's cool. So, I mean, you guys have been running the campaigns for a few days. What are you guys seeing as far as like because you're obviously there's that period, right? You have the first couple of days is really good, and then you have the dead zone, right? So, I mean, how are you guys combating it? Like, what are you guys doing? Who are you guys reaching out to? What are you guys? What's your game plan?
Reaching out to you.
Gotcha.
You and Kevin Joseph. We were on Kevin Joseph's show Friday night.
Right.
yeah.
And then I've been running 2 advertisements just since day one of the launch. One is just to get people, on our email list, and then the other one is a direct, and that email list will point them to the project after a few automated emails, and then the other ad is to just send them directly to the Kickstarter page. And then also January is the Make 100 month, which I had never heard of until this year. So we decided to do 100 hardcover editions of this book. I'm hoping that Kickstarter will push it a little bit more, but we're at 765 of 2,000 right now. So it's the dead zone. It's hard to you just try to stay positive. Like, okay, what else can I do here? I've been trying to share it on my Facebook and all my social medias and stuff as much as possible.
Right.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
No, that's fair. Listen, man. I mean, it's funny. It's a rough business. You're right. You've been in it, Dave. You did Broken Trident, so right? How tough it can be. So I mean, beyond Kickstarter, what are you looking to do? Are you looking to put it in other places? Try to get it in stores? What are you looking to do?
Yeah, I mean, once the Kickstarter is done, we'll do a decently large print run again and get it into stores. And like I said, I've got my website. I'm being completely redesigned, so we'll have a good storefront on the website now. Travis is still working on getting Broken Trident #1 into the Amazon digital platform, which he knows more about that part than I do. But I don't. Amazon bought Comixology, right?
Yes.
So are there still 2 different storefronts though? Amazon versus Comixology?
My understanding is that they integrated it into one thing.
Okay, that's what I thought. So
yeah, as far as what that thing is, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But Travis is working on getting all the pages, because it's not just like a PDF. I don't know how familiar you are with it. Like, you got to like put each one of your panels into it, and then it's kind of like a flow. Like, as you're reading it, it goes through panel to panel. Right. And I guess it's not like the easiest process, especially when you have the awesome art that our artist did with the cool panels that are circles and squares and everything. You've got to like cut just right to not include too much of the next panel. And so I think we'll probably try to do How to Build an Army that way as well. Yeah, we just got to get Broken Trident up there first.
Yeah, it just I mean, it sounds really annoying. I mean, they should just give you I'm like I said, I like PDFs. They're just plain, they're simple. You can blow it up, move it around, do whatever you want to do.
Right.
Don't have to do any of that silly stuff,
Right.
Where you enlarge things or have a farting noise.
Yeah, right.
It's ridiculous. So I mean, Eiler. So I mean, like I was saying, like what inspired you to get into the business of comics? Like, what was it like when you were a little kid? Like, what type of comics were you reading? Were you reading manga? How'd you get involved with that?
Well, when I was a kid, I was a huge Spider-Man fan, and I had like 20 comic books of Spider-Man. The Ben Riley Spider-Man, the clone, the Spider-Man clone. Yeah. I have those because, those are the only few comic books I could find here in our city. Comic books are very hard to find here, but I was able to collect Spider-Man. I have few issues of Uncanny X-Men. And I have a few books of like DC stuff,
right?
And then I have what do you call this? There's this old comic book. They're like X-Men, like Gen 13. Yeah.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Gen 13. Yeah.
Was that Image, right?
Yeah.
I have Gen 13.
Yeah, I have a few comic books of those. Unfortunately, I don't know the whole story because they're very hard to find. Like you're just happy to find like an issue or two.
Right. So, I mean, how would you come across them? Would they be like in some store?
Yeah,
Or
in
like,
some stores, in bookstores, you really have to hunt them, and sometimes you need to befriend the clerk that's like on the stores, because other people that are like hunting for them as well. Like,
mhm, that's
you need to tell them like, hey, yeah, when this book comes in, can you save some for me? Like, can you
mhm,
you know?
Making
right.
your own pull list.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, are you getting them brand new, or are you getting like, older books that maybe somebody brought over with them?
Uh, they were pretty new, but I think we're getting like shipments that are from other cities, like
Hmm.
main cities, and so we'll find whatever that's left from the main stores in that comes from Manila or other bigger cities. Because here there's not too many like before, like there's not too many like nerds, I guess, or
Gotcha. Hmm. Listen, it's no shame in being a nerd, all right? It's okay.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Uh,
So like, yeah, those are really hard to come by, but I was determined to find those.
right. Gotcha. Now, as far as like your art career, like obviously you've been illustrating for a while. What got you like? Did you go to school? In the
Yeah,
Philippines? I mean, yeah.
yeah. I studied animation,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, I've always loved to draw. That's what I know. Like, uh, even um, kind of started really young. I love to always draw. I remember my first drawings were like Ninja Turtles,
Right.
and then Goku, uh,
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Ball,
Yeah.
and yeah. So like when I learned about like animation, like and comic books, uh, and me thinking like, oh, like people are making a living out of drawing. I love drawing, so
Mm,
that's just ever since all the only thing I really want to do, like draw and get paid for it. So
right. So
yeah.
now, all right. So obviously, comics are hard to get. Do you guys get a big influence of manga?
Yes, yes.
Mm,
There's a there there's a lot of stores here that has more like manga stuff.
mm,
So yeah, I have lots of influence in manga.
got you. Now, are they translating it into what is it Tagalog?
Yeah, it's usually in English. Like
Oh, okay. So you
also,
getting the stuff from here.
yeah, yeah, like yeah, it's like most reading materials here are in English.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Rarely hard to find like even Tagalog, which is our own
Mm,
language.
right.
Like
Uh,
like our laws are written in English.
oh, okay. All right. That's pretty wild. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. All right. Cool. Um, because I mean, what is it? 13, right?
Oh yeah, Trece. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So
I'm a
yeah,
fan of
yeah,
that.
yeah. I mean that's from the Philippines, and I mean it's an
Right.
incredible book. It was released by a company I think called Ablaze
Yeah,
over here, and it has the animation being done on Netflix.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
yeah, and I thought it was great because it was like it introduces us to a completely different mythology that
yeah,
that's obviously homegrown, native to you guys, and I thought that was incredible. I love seeing that sort of thing because it shows a different aspect of mythology that like we as Americans were mostly influenced by Eastern European
yeah.
mythology. So it's like I love seeing that other stuff. So yeah, I mean, have you is there any other like is that community of homegrown comics like big?
Um, yeah, there's a community here of that type of comic.
Mhm.
Um, so so yeah, something I would love to delve into like in the future, because I know a lot of stuffs about local mythology,
Mhm.
and yeah, like I suggested with Dave, um, we'll we'll introduce some of the water type creatures that are in a Philippine mythology, because it would fit right in with Broken Trident, because it's underwater. So we could pull we could pull some of the creatures. Maybe we'll introduce them in the comic book. Like for example, there's this underwater goblins in Philippine mythology. There,
Mhm.
it's called Undin.
Mhm.
So we could use that in maybe in the future, or Broken Trident,
All
if
right,
we
cool.
ever need like underwater goblins.
Yeah, let's.
Yeah,
Yeah. You can always make space for another goblin. You can always use one of those. You
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So I mean, so Dave, I mean, like I mean, what are your thoughts on it? Um, I mean, as far, I mean, you obviously got an open fantasy world that you're working with. I mean, how does that sort of thing factor in? I mean, you're looking to like import all these things. Like I said, we're from the U.S. We're Eastern European stuff. That's where knights and armor and dragons and all that stuff
Right.
and swords. you know,
Yeah.
but
I
yeah.
love
But
it.
I
I
mean,
mean, we kind of have a mix of that going on because
Yeah.
we're in the like, you know, I don't want to say we're in the D&D realm because now they're trying to tighten up their stuff. I don't know if you heard all about all that lately, but
Yeah, I'm kind of worried about that too.
so yeah, we're not in the D&D world,
gotcha.
We are in
but
a
we're in a D&D
fantasy.
adjacent world, we'll say.
Uh,
And so it's awesome to have his the Filipino culture kind of influence into our book. I love it. I love what he's done with the sea creatures and things like that, and then yeah, to bring in like I would love to work in these underwater goblins at some point here, and this issue that we're working on right now, without giving any spoilers, not a lot of it is going to take place underwater. Like the first one,
yeah,
like half of it was underwater, but they're definitely going to be underwater again. There's we're going to be doing 5 total issues for Broken Trident. So, and then the rest of the Keepers of Enoch series is all building upon the first 5 issues of Broken Trident. So, like they'll be underwater a lot, even in the issues going past Broken Trident. So we'll definitely be able to work in the underwater goblins and any other things that Eiler can bring to us. I'm definitely keeping an
yeah.
open mind and love working that in, kind of mixing the Eastern and Western cultures like that.
Gotcha. Now, Dave, I got an interesting question for you. Like, you guys, you and Travis are both in the middle of the country, right?
Yeah, we're in Minnesota. Yep,
Right. So you guys are landlocked. How
we
did you
are.
end up writing a fantasy about water? or
You know, I love the water. Like I've grown. Me and Travis grew up on a lake. I live on a lake right now. Hence, Lakeshore Comics, the name of the comic book. I've been to the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean multiple times. The Gulf of Mexico multiple times. Just I love everything to do with it. I've never read Aquaman comics, but I've always loved the character and loved the movie and everything. And
right.
I watched a lot of Young Justice, and I watched all of Young Justice. And like I said, that Janor, my D&D character was based off Aqualad, the Calderon version from Young Justice. So it just kind of fit. Like that was, like I said, my first D&D character was this underwater sea elf, and then it just so happened that Travis, I don't know how he ended up that way. I think him and I just think alike so much without even knowing it. That
Right.
he had created Zadrin, the kind of brighter blue character on Broken Trident. He
Mm-hmm.
had created that character unbeknownst to me. And when I asked him if he wanted to write a comic with me, and I showed him what I had, he was like, "Oh my god, this is perfect!" And he had created the Etesian race, where I didn't have a name for it. They were just underwater sea elves. So yeah, I don't know. It just our love for the ocean, I guess. to make a long story short.
No, that's cool. That's cool. No, that's really cool. As a matter of fact, let me pull this up.
Actually, it was like I really loved underwater creatures as well. And even before I met Dave, I have the sketches of like a series of creatures that are from underwater,
Right.
and like Atlanteans, and just uh, just the whole art book of underwater things.
Some of those
So
are in Broken Trident #1, right? Like
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
that big underwater
Yeah,
scene.
yeah. So like when I met Dave, and he has this idea of underwater things, like I was so excited about it. Like,
Yeah,
All
it worked
right,
out
cool.
perfect.
Do you want me to play the video?
Yeah, you can if you want to.
Sure.
I guess ask Eiler.
yeah, yeah,
He was
sure.
pretty nervous. He was full disclosure. I hope I don't embarrass him. He was pretty nervous about making this video. So
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't like doing them either. To be I get nervous too. So,
gotcha.
but
All
go
right,
ahead. You can play it.
here we go.
Hi there, my name is Travis Bowen. I am the co-creator, co-writer of the successfully funded on Kickstarter Broken Trident #1, and this is my brother, Dave Steinborn. Hi, my name's David Steinborn, co-writer of Broken Trident. Like Travis said, #1 was successfully funded on Kickstarter. We have #2 coming out later this year, and we're here today to talk to you about how to build an army. So the best way to describe how to build an army, it was originally created, written, everything by our artist, Ailer Azusano. This is the first Eastern manga style that we'll be publishing, and we're hoping to keep bringing out more stories in this format as well as Western style. So with all that, now we'd like to introduce you to Ailer Azusano himself. We're really excited for you to be able to hear from him. So here is Ailer.
Hi everyone, this is Ailer Azusano. I'm the writer of How to Build an Army. My inspiration for writing How to Build an Army was based off like fantasy genre, not just anime fantasy, but also like Western fantasy. It's like a mix of Western story writing and like manga anime type of story writing. I wanted to have that blend in how I made the story. So How to Build an Army is like, it's basically a fantasy shonen. It's a story about growing up and character development. It centers on Beta, who's a prince. He's thrust into this world where their kingdom is falling apart now. It's up to him as the last remaining royalty of that kingdom to save what was left of this kingdom. So the storyline is him building an army to take back what is rightfully his. How to Build an Army is for kids that are it's a fun fantasy mixed with warm-hearted adventures. I just want to thank everyone who backs this Kickstarter. I hope everyone enjoys it.
All right, so that was Ailer Azusano. I hope you enjoyed hearing from him. We're really excited about this project, and we hope you are too. So if you are, keep scrolling through the page and hit that pledge button.
Oh, cool.
I was a lot less nervous in that video than I was the one for Broken Trident. I'll tell you that much.
It takes a while. It takes a while.
Yeah. Which is funny because I don't mind doing this at all. The live stuff, like this doesn't bother me at all. But there's something about the pressure of the like kind of scripted video that is harder to me. Like when Travis and I made that video for Broken Trident, and then we were on your show and a couple other shows during the campaign, and we were like, okay, we need to do like interview style videos for the Kickstarter video, and then just cut pieces out of it and use them because it was just so much more natural that way.
No, it's really cool. So you guys are doing 100 copies of hardcover?
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay,
That's the plan.
that's cool. That's the plan.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, nice. I mean, I got a question for Eiler because it's funny, right? Like you have the artwork that's on the cover, which is like a little bit more what you would consider traditional anime, right?
Yeah.
And then you have I saw on the interiors, this looks more traditional pen and ink like similar to manga or
Yeah.
American style comics, where it's very heavily rendered. Now, what like what was the decision to go from one style to the other, or vice versa?
Okay. Mainly because I want the cover colored, and so the readers could see in their mind what their colors are. Like
Mm,
even even the even if the interior is black and white, because I think it's important that the readers know what like the main heroes' colors are and can see them in their heads. So yeah, that's mainly the reason why them. I wanted them that way, to be colored and like just clean.
all right, cool. Now, what? Now, this is obviously the first issue. How many issues? I mean, how many different arcs or stories are we looking in the series?
Um, probably probably 10 or um I'm not quite sure because it's a flowing story, but I'm
Mhm.
definitely working on the second book, like kind of writing it roughly. Um, and since it's like it's integrated, like in the same world as the Broken Trident, so uh, yeah, I'm hoping like in one of the books they would like I don't know. Maybe they would need a ship and like ride in the Invictus at some point for a few pages. Yeah, because they'd be traveling all around, like gathering up like people that are willing to fight the these like these serpent people, right? So
Mhm.
yeah,
All right, well, that's cool. Um, yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, you still got like what, another 14 days?
Yep. Yep.
yes, yep,
All right, cool. I mean, you just got to keep plugging away. I mean, it's like I said, it's a rough business, so you just got to keep working at it. You know. Um, nice. All right, now I see you got a timeline here. All right, out of the close the print early February. So you're looking to, all right, fulfill by May, June.
Yeah, and we always put that out. I'm sure you do the same. Kind of, you try to put it out further than what you think it's going to be, right? So, like,
Yeah.
then they're surprised when they get it early, that rather than being pissed off that it's late.
Mhm. No, no, I
So,
got you. I try to flip them as quickly as I can. I finished my campaign probably about 3 weeks ago. Um, I just finished packing them all up Friday, and we labeled them yesterday, and we will be shipping them out Tuesday because tomorrow's
nice,
a
nice,
holiday. So, yeah, and
nice.
then I'm launching again on the 22nd.
Oh my God, yeah, you're busy.
Yeah, so, so it's one of those things where it's just like it's just constant flow. But here's the thing though, once you get into it, you get kind of accustomed to it, and you just kind of like build a rhythm for yourself. To set aside at least an hour a day to work on it, and it doesn't
Right,
it becomes more of a system than it does anything else.
right,
Uh,
right.
what is that? If it would be one Gilman, I don't know. Reminds me of Blackwater for a minute. The cover, okay. So it reminds me of that cartoon Blackwater. So,
Which
all right.
we use that as a comparison to Broken Trident a lot too. So that's funny that they say that.
Uh,
yeah.
so Broken Trident #2. What are you looking at as far as the timeline? I mean, I know you released the first issue. What are you looking at for the second issue?
Oh God, I wish we were launching it next month. That was the initial plan, because that'd be 1 year from when we launched the first one, and I didn't even want it to be
Yeah.
this far out. But like I said, I think we were talking off air about this. That my real job is really crimping my style here,
Right.
and
Gotcha.
so now
Yeah.
I'm really like I was hoping maybe March then, but now I'm kind of looking at as a loose deadline of maybe May. And this is like very beginning in the works right now, but there's another Kickstarter creator that's in Minnesota that he does his own writing and art and everything. We were both at the Twin Cities Con together,
Right.
and I talked to him about doing a variant for us, and then also doing like some crossover art so we could launch around the same time and have like his characters and our characters on the cover, or just a print that, you know, like if you back both campaigns, you get that print or something.
Right.
So he's launching in May for sure. So if we could line that up, and that'll kind of give me like motivation, like, okay, we got to get this done now, you know, like by May. You know, like if I could launch before that, I would, but I don't know. We'll see. May is probably the most realistic date for Broken Trainer 2.
Okay. Now, what do you find to be the most, like, what's the thing that's holding you back from launching sooner? Or like what has been holding you back? Obviously, you said the day job, but there's obviously other things.
That's it. It's the time because of that day job. Because like when we did Broken Trident #1, I was working from home, and I could I had a lot of time. Like I dealt with customers on the phone. I had a lot of time between customers that I could write scripts. I could prep Kickstarter pages. I could, you know, send emails to the email list. You know, now I'm staying up till 11 o'clock at night to craft an email that's going to go out the next morning at 9 a.m. You know, so it's just time. It's time prioritization, and also I don't bring this up a whole lot, but I did get a divorce since that last campaign, and it was for the better. Like it's so much better for the kids. Me and my ex-wife get along like we're like friends now. It's like weird.
Wait, now you guys can breathe.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm in a new relationship too since then, and like and that's going great. But it's just managing time now with like having the kids half time, having this job that's really demanding, you know, all of those things combined. So now that the newness of all that is kind of over, and now I'm kind of like buckling down and getting back into my comic creativity again, and so it actually feels really good. Like getting this campaign going was part of that, and yeah, I think to answer your question, those are all the things that are holding it back. So.
Gotcha. So moving forward, how many campaigns are you looking to do this year?
Including this one, I'd like to do 3. I'd like to get Broken Trident #2 and 3 out this year. So if we could get 2 out by May, you know, then maybe 3-4 months later, get 3 out. That'd be great. You know, more than that if we could. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, listen,
Eiler's been pumping out pages like crazy. Like when we give him the setup, you know, what we want, he's been turning them around like we've got a good flow now compared to when we did 1. So like he's turning them out a lot faster than when we did 1.
Yeah, I guess it's just the familiarization with the characters, because like we kind of me and Oliver like knows the character more right now, and like so the thinking process of drawing them is like just lessened, and so yeah, that's why we were like pumping up the pages like way faster than what we were doing before. So.
And we changed our style too. Like when we did the first comic, we were writing it. I don't know. I guess you could say like traditional comic script or whatever. I know Marvel does it one way and DC does it the other, and I can never remember which one's which.
Right.
But basically, what we were doing in the first comic was we were like, okay, this page is going to have this, and this is the script, and this is what the characters are saying, and kind of more strict on what was going on each page. And we now like. I learned how to letter myself, so when we lettered Broken Trident 1, the second half of it, it was a lot easier to letter and edit at the same time. Like, oh, this makes way more sense if we put this bubble here, and this guy doesn't even need to say this, you know, kind of little things like that. So we learned because of that, like, okay, we can just give Eiler like a pretty good description of what we want to happen and say like, this is what's going to happen on roughly pages 1 through 5 or 1 through 3 or whatever. But if you feel like you can expand on that, give us 7 pages. Like I think we gave him 5 pages of script and we got 9 pages back.
Right.
For Broken Trident 2. And there's no lettering yet at all. No, not even any hard script. Like Travis and I have a pretty good idea, but nothing set in stone until we see Eiler's art. Then we go in and we haven't done it yet, but we're going to go and add the script then and go from there.
Yeah, that's cool. No, that's traditional Marvel style. That's how they would work it. That's the Marvel style.
Okay.
DC does hard scripts. So, panel 1, scene 1, blah, blah, 3/4 worm's eye, la, la, that's what.
Yeah, that's what we were doing in the first issue was the DC style.
Right. So, Eiler, I mean, how many pages do you find yourself being able to knock out in a week?
Oh, man. Depends on what type of pages. If I get like those pages that needs like a lot of details for the shot, I could finish at least for Broken Trident. I could finish like 2 or 3, even 4. It really depends.
I was gonna say I think our record was probably 3 in a week.
3 in a week. Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, if me and Travis can get more script done, we have probably 18 pages of script like loosely written. We just need to kind of fine tune it a little before we give it to Eiler.
Right.
And so it's going to start rolling fast here.
You have to start transcribing on your car trips.
Exactly. I've actually have done that.
Yeah, sometimes you have to. All right, cool. So, gentlemen, we're almost done. Dave, you've been through this before, right? We're almost done, but we're not done just yet. I got some goofy questions for you. But before we finish,
my favorite part.
Before we get out to the goofy questions, Dave, where can they find you and your work, sir?
You can find us at facebook.com/Lakeshore Comics. You can find me on Instagram at Dave Steinborn, Twitter at Dave Steinborn. We also have the business ones. It's at Lakeshore Comics on Instagram and at Lakeshore Comic without the S on Twitter. The website is under construction, but we'll be back up soon. It's lakeshorecomics.com. And How to Build an Army is live right now. You can find that at howtobuildanarmy.lakeshorecomics.com. And that'll take you right to the Kickstarter.
Cool. Eiler, where can they find you and your work, sir?
I have an art page on Facebook. It's Art of Eiler, and Instagram is Eiler Art 00. So
cool. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I have most of that. I know I definitely have the Kickstarter on the show notes. So if you want, you just click that link. It'll take you right to the Kickstarter. Go help some brothers out with the fantastic book. Go get yourself a hardcover. All right, so let's get on to some of these goofy questions. So I'm gonna switch it up a little bit for Eiler, right? So Eiler, obviously, you're doing your comic. A big thing is alternative covers, right?
Okay.
Now, actually, we'll go this route. Yeah, we'll go with alternative covers. So if you had a choice of an artist. And this is, I'm not going to even change the question. So, Dave, the same questions for you. If you guys had a choice of an artist, any artist, living or dead, right? Who would you want to get to do a guest cover for you?
Oh man.
Look,
I can only pick one.
Yeah, just the one, just the number one. Whoever's on the top of that list,
living or dead.
Living or dead. Don't worry about the budget.
Neil Adams.
Okay.
I was going to say Jim Lee. That'd be a close second, but Neil Adams. I met Neil Adams. I met Neil Adams at a Comic-Con, fully nerded out in a Green Arrow TV show accurate Green Arrow cosplay costume, and had him sign a Green Lantern Green Arrow comic, and CGC graded it. And funny quick side note about Neil Adams. I don't know. Have you ever met him?
Yes.
He's an awesome dude. He was an awesome dude.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
and he sets up his own Comic-Con booth, like just like this humble dude, but kind of like brash a little bit, and he signed my comic, and I was like, oh shit, wait, like I want CGC to do this. So like he sends a runner to the CGC booth. They come back and they're like, well, we can't certify this because we need to witness him signing it. And Neil Adams picks up the comic and he goes, like deadpan serious, he goes, I'm Neil Adams. I just signed this. And I was like, I love you. Just like, they were like, okay. And then they certified it and that yawn got great and everything. It was awesome.
At that point, you can't argue. So, Eiler, who would you want to get?
Oh, okay. I think I love Art Germ style. Stanley Lau, Art Germ.
Yep.
And Kim Jung-gi.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of him. Yeah. And Jim Lee.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. All right, cool. All right, so now, gentlemen, if you had,
I'm trying to plug in.
Now, Dave, you've I'm sure you've heard this question. I asked you this in the last episode. So, if you guys had the choice, if you guys got the golden ticket, you got to call up to the big companies, right? Marvel, DC, Image, doesn't matter. What book would you guys want to work on, right? So, Eiler, why don't you go first with that one?
Oh man, definitely Blade. Blade, yeah, because I would love Blade to explore the Philippines more. Because there's this episode in Blade, like he went to the Philippines. He went to this, one of the islands that is famous for monsters. Yeah,
Right.
and I could do a lot of mythical creatures for Blade to fight against that wasn't featured yet. And yeah, I would love to expand on those.
All right, cool.
Blade
is cool. Dave, what are you thinking?
X-Men has been my favorite comic my entire life, and that's like would normally be my go-to answer. But as I've been writing my own comics, I feel like the X-Men have just like they've jumped the shark. Like I don't know what else you can even do. Hickman brought it around, whatever. But Green Arrow is my favorite DC character, and I feel like he's an underrated character. I just feel like I have like tons and tons of ideas bouncing around in my head that I could easily pencil out whatever for Green Arrow, and also I think me and Travis probably had this argument on your show last time, but I will stand by that. Not saying that he would, but he could beat Batman. And Travis is like, no, Batman would destroy Green Arrow. I'm like, no, like no preparation. They're just both on the street. Like Green Arrow could beat Batman. Like he could. I'm not saying he would, but he could. Because they're like the same. They both have the street smarts. They both have the fighting. Yeah, Batman has the tech, whatever. But I'm such a big Green Arrow fan, and then on top of that, I just love to rub in Travis's face like, no, you're wrong. Green Arrow could beat Batman.
Hey, look, that's fair enough for me, man. I'm like, it's all good. All right, cool. I have, what is this? This is my buddy Charles. He says, since it's anime, I would like to think the cover would look anime style. Art Adams comes to mind. Oh, there you go.
Cool.
All right, so I got some comparatives. I mean, Dave has been through this the last time. So this will be new for you, Eiler. This is a definite test of your nerd card or your geek card.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna softball you. I think I've asked these questions to Dave already, but we'll do it again anyway. Captain America or Batman?
Oh, that's a hard one. Oh man. I would say Captain America. Yeah, he's very strategic. He's kind of like Batman with steroids, except without the money. So I don't know. The money evens out. So, but Captain America.
All right, cool, Dave.
I will almost always vote against Batman for the reasons I was just discussing. And I feel like I like Batman. I've read a lot of Batman, a lot of really good stories written, but he's overrated. Like he's just a dude. Like he's not even Iron Man. Like he doesn't have a suit. Like he has the bat suit, but Like, no, Captain America is super strength. Like, he's almost invulnerable. Like, no, but Captain America for sure.
Gotcha. Well, it always depends which Captain America, right?
That-
Because
yeah,
you have the Ultimates universe Captain America who flips over tanks, right?
right.
So
Where it's like
that
more
Captain
close to Superman at that point. Like,
Right. Well, he's like, he's I don't know, closer to She-Hulk,
yeah,
right? As far as
yeah.
strength, right? It's like, he could
Right.
pick up an SUV and throw it over the, that against that Batman would have stand a chance. One punch and the fight's over.
Right.
But then you have like classic era 70s, 80s Batman. I mean, Captain America, where it's kind of like more, he's strong, but he's not that strong.
Right.
So yeah, it was always one of those things. But yeah, I always have the preference too. But anyway, Godzilla or Gamera?
Godzilla, definitely Godzilla.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
Mm-hmm. All right, fair enough. Lord of the Rings or Star Wars?
Ooh.
I think
Hard
Travis
one.
and I got into this one on this one last time too.
Yeah.
Man.
I say Star Wars, but
Lord of the Rings, because fantasy.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a big fantasy guy too, but I do love sci-fi and yeah.
But that was a hard one because I'm a Star Wars fan as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. Teen Titans or X-Men?
Which X-Men?
That's up to you. You can pick that.
Okay. X-Men, I guess. Yeah, X-Men.
Yeah. I mean, I just got done saying I've been an X-Men fan. I would say X-Men. Wait, I almost got to say which Teen Titans, but Raven's pretty powerful if you got Superboy involved, but that's more Young Justice. But no, I'd still say X-Men. Yeah. X-Men have Professor and Phoenix and Emma Frost and yeah.
All right, cool. Doctor Strange or John Constantine?
Oh, that's a good one.
I mean,
I don't know enough. I love Constantine from the live action, like the Arrowverse and stuff. I don't know a lot of his comic background. Mm-hmm. I don't know if can he do like the world bending like Doctor Strange?
I wouldn't say he's as powerful in that regard as Doctor Strange.
Yeah, so
he's way more conniving though.
Yeah, that's true.
Tricky,
and he's got like devils on his side and stuff. So like,
yeah,
that's tough. Like as far as like the more interesting character, I would say it's John Constantine, but for a fight, it's Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say John Constantine as well. It's also one of the comics that would love to work on. Yeah.
All right. Here we go. Kirk or Picard?
In a fist fight or like in general?
However you want to do it.
In a fist fight, Kirk could win, but like overall, I'd say Picard was smarter and more patient.
Mm-hmm. Any thoughts on that?
Kirk? I'd say Kirk. I don't watch a lot of Star Trek, and I only know Kirk, so I would say Kirk.
I've watched those two. I've watched the original series and Next Generation, and that's it. And Picard overall.
Right. Fair enough. Here's one. I don't know how much you guys are into toys, but Pops or 3 3/4 inch figures.
You mean like a regular action figure?
Yeah. Or
definitely. The action figures, 3 and 3. Action figures.
I would say the action figures. I mean, the Pop. I have a lot of Pop figures. I even have some Christmas style X-Men or not X-Men, Avengers Pop figures. But yeah, the action figures they're more versatile. You can play with them.
All right, cool. Frank Miller or Alan Moore?
Oh man.
Frank Miller.
That's a tough one. Alan Moore's Killing Joke, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Alan Moore.
Yeah.
All right. Alan Moore's Killing Joke, Watchmen, Swamp Thing, Miracle Man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Promethea, top 10. He's done a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they're both so good, and I think of Batman when I think of both of them, but just because of Killing Joke on Alan Moore, but
right. All right, I got you. Now, I personally, I would say Frank Miller because I find his work more enjoyable. So, yeah. Whereas I like Alan Moore's stuff is good, and there's some of it that's enjoyable, but I found some of it I can find tedious at times. But
yeah, there's another big Alan Moore one that he was Watchmen, you said, right?
Yeah. He wrote Watchmen. It's the one he did one with Jack the Ripper. I keep forgetting the title. I have the omnibus over there. There was actually a great book. All right. Todd McFarlane or Arthur Adams?
I don't know Arthur Adams off the top of my head.
So, Todd McFarlane.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did Arthur Adams do?
I would say Google him. You've seen his. Trust me, you've seen his work. He did the Long Shot limited series. He did Monkey Man and O'Brien. He's done a bunch of covers for Marvel over the last few years. I mean, like in the tonnage.
Yeah, I'm looking at an X-Men classic X-Men. I think it's from that series called Classic X-Men.
Right. He did a bunch of the covers.
Yeah, Arthur Adams. I like Todd McFarlane, but he just reminds me of that whole like 90s, like they were such good art, but like Marvel just kind of. Have you watched that Chris Claremont documentary?
I think I have to finish watching. I maybe got like halfway through.
I would say it's on Amazon. If you haven't watched it, watch it. It's really good. But I just have a bad taste in my mouth for like some of those artists from that time frame. Not Todd specifically, but that just reminds me of that. Like Jim Lee and especially Rob Liefeld, like really good. But I just feel like they were like divas.
Gotcha. Rob's actually a pretty nice guy.
Is he?
No. Yeah, he is. He is. I mean, so is Jim. Jim's a sweetheart.
Jim seems like a nice guy. I don't know that documentary could have been one side of that. That's all I have to go off of. I love their art. I absolutely love their art. And I follow Rob Liefeld on Instagram. He does seem like a cool guy.
Yeah. His Rob Servations podcast is really interesting. If you ever get a chance, he has some interesting stuff on there. All right, here we go. So, all right, here we go. Pinhead or Freddy Krueger? For you horror fans.
Pinhead. Yeah.
Okay. I think I'd go with Freddy Krueger. I'm such a baby when it comes to scary stuff. They both scare me.
It's funny. But yeah, I agree with Eiler. Pinhead. Talk about frightening. Jesus. Here's one. Manga or anime?
So manga's the comic and the anime is like the cartoon, right?
Yeah. I'd say anime because it's hard for me to draw while reading. So usually I stumble to things through the anime, and then maybe if like I can't wait for what happens next, I would read the manga. So anime.
I don't know. I've just recently got into both, so I don't even know. Like I probably manga, but it's hard to say because, like I said, I just kind of found both in the last couple of years with talking to Eiler and getting so much more into this comic book world. So,
all right, cool. All right, well, I've asked you a bunch of these, so I'm gonna ask you a couple more, and then we'll wrap this sucker up. All right. Okay, Stan Lee or Jack Kirby?
Oof. Stan Lee.
Yeah, Stan Lee.
Yeah, that's tough though. That's a tough one.
No, yeah, that's a rough one. Okay. The Avengers or the Justice League?
I mean, Justice League. Until the movies came out, like the Avengers movies are way better. But like overall, like the Avengers were honestly like they were kind of lame in the comics until the movies came out. Like, and as far as like if who was going to win in a fight, I'd say Justice League for sure. I mean, Superman, Martian Manhunter, Green Lantern, like those three alone dealing some damage. And then if they have Dr. Fate or Zatanna with, like,
yeah. I mean, like, I enjoy like Marvel Avengers now, but I mean, if they were to fight, Justice League would wipe the floor with them.
yeah.
Gotcha. All right, fair enough. All right, here's the last one. Secret Wars or Crisis on Infinite Earth?
That's tough too, but I Crisis, Flash dies, and spoiler alert.
Secret
Yeah, I
Wars.
know, right?
Secret Wars.
Okay. Big Mike Zeck fan? Jim Shooter? Mike Zeck was the artist.
Well, and then Jim Shooter, he was the editor in chief, but did he write that too?
Yeah, he wrote that one.
Okay.
Yeah, he wrote that one, and it was Marv Wolfman and George Perez on Crisis.
Crisis, yep.
Yeah.
I love both of them guys so much. Like Wolfman did the Deathstroke story, right? The Judas Contract.
Yes, the way you did Teen Titans, that entire run with him and George Perez.
Yeah,
they did a massive. Yeah, that was huge.
Yeah, that's so good.
Mm-hmm. All right, gentlemen. I mean, this was fantastic. Thank you for being here. One more time, please, Dave. Let everybody know where they can find you and your work, sir.
We got Facebook.com/Lakeshore Comics. We got at Dave Steinborn on Instagram, at Dave Steinborn on Twitter. The website, which will be back up and running soon, is just lakeshorecomics.com, and How to Build an Army is live on Kickstarter at it's howtobuildanarmy.lakeshorecomics.com. I'll take you right to the Kickstarter.
All right, cool. Eiler, where can they find you and your work, sir?
Art of Eiler on Facebook and Eiler Art 00 on Instagram.
All right, cool. So thank you everybody for being here. Listen, today we started at 6. I have my regular Sunday show starting in 7:30, so I'll be back in like 28 minutes. So thank you all for being here. Go check out the book. Go check out Broken Trident, which is coming up when do you think, in June? May?
I think in May.
Okay.
May or possibly sooner.
Right, but if you don't want to wait, go check out How to Build an Army, which is happening right now. The link is in the show notes. Go click on that. Go buy a book. Go get a PDF, and enjoy some comics.
One more quick plug. You can actually purchase How to Build an Army #1 right now, too, at lakeshorecomics.com/shop. That link still does work, even though while the site's on construction. And you can actually pledge for a pledge level in How to Build an Army where you get Broken Trident and How to Build an Army. So.
All right. So there you go, gentlemen. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. You guys are welcome anytime. So thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you all in a little while. Have a good night, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.